The Russians are currently experiencing problems in the Dobropillia and Zaporizhzhia sectors. The enemy was not expecting the Ukrainian Armed Forces to launch offensive operations there, even though they achieved some success. Due to unexpected actions by Ukrainian defenders, the occupiers were trapped. This was noted on Channel 24 by retired Major Alexei Getman, a veteran of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Alexey Getman noted that Ukrainian troops have encircled several Russian army groups in the Dobropillia sector. The Russians are attempting to free them and deploying additional forces. The enemy is currently unable to achieve anything. They are left with either surrender or be eliminated. This, at the very least, is a distraction to the Russians' ability to continue active operations near Pokrovsk. For at least several months, the Russians had been moving heavy equipment, concentrating troops, and supposedly preparing for an offensive in the Zaporizhzhia area. They received our counterattack in response. This was a surprise to them. An army that's almost ready to launch an offensive isn't very good at immediately switching to defensive action. We took advantage of this. Several settlements were liberated, the retired major emphasized. Trapped here, the Russians have no choice but to surrender. The Ukrainian Armed Forces can launch counterattacks, launch counteroffensives, and achieve success. Our troops carry out these actions despite a numerical advantage. Despite this, the Ukrainian Defense Forces are making progress despite having fewer personnel, equipment, and so on. In my opinion, the key is the element of surprise, when the enemy definitely doesn't expect us to launch an offensive. They certainly didn't. That's why we were able to advance and consolidate our positions. Not deeply, but at the very least, they'll have to rewrite their own combat orders given the situation that has developed in recent days, said the veteran of the Russian-Ukrainian war. According to him, there have been no significant changes on other sections of the front in recent days. However, the occupiers are experiencing problems in the Dobropillia and Zaporizhzhia directions. Recall, Ukrainian forces have regained control of the village of Maly-Shcherbaki in the Zaporizhzhia sector. Units of the 24th Separate Assault Battalion, IDAR, together with comrades from the 33rd Separate Assault Regiment, raised the Ukrainian flag in the village of Maly-Shcherbaki in the Zaporizhzhia sector. The settlement is now under the control of Ukraine's defense forces, the statement said. This success is the result of clear coordination, determination, and well-coordinated teamwork among our units. Every such step is another page in our ongoing struggle. Despite fatigue, risks, and losses, the soldiers said.
Poza Rica, in the state of Veracruz, was one of the towns most affected by the torrential rains that flooded central and eastern Mexico in recent days that have left at least 64 dead and 65 missing. According to Associated Press, some houses have been completely destroyed, especially those built on the banks of the Brecht rivers. Others were heavily damaged by flooding or landslides. On Monday, Poza Rica, along with dozens of other municipalities, remained without running water and electricity. Lilia Ramirez, a resident of Poza Rica, ran out of her home with the few belongings she could grab minutes before the water from an overflowing stream rushed in. It was like nothing we had ever seen before, she said. When she returned the following day, it was completely covered by water. You could only see a tiny bit of it. Thousands of military personnel have been deployed across the region. In northern Veracruz, 80 communities remained inaccessible by road. Early official estimates 100,000 homes have been affected. Mexico's Civil Protection Agency said the heavy rains had killed 29 people in Veracruz State on the Gulf Coast as of Monday morning, and 21 people in Hidalgo State, north of Mexico City. At least 13 were killed in Puebla, east of Mexico City. Earlier, in the central state of Querétaro, a child died in a landslide.
un poco más y nos quedamos y sí nos atrapa aquí el agua. Sí, cuando salimos tocaron la sirena de Pemex y ya se había desbordado el río. Y pues al parecer el agua nos iba siguiendo, pues salimos, no rescatamos absolutamente nada y pues con lo único que traíamos, lo esencial nada más. Y fue un momento muy angustiante, la verdad, porque se quedaron muchas personas en la colonia y algunos perecieron aquí. Totalmente tapó la casa y se perdió todo. Es pérdida total.
También nos ayudó que no ha llovido, bajó mucho el nivel del agua, entonces esos rescates ya no se vuelven con cuerdas, a lo mejor ya hasta caminando se pueden hacer, o esta recuperación.
Supimos que se estaba derramando el arroyo ya, el arroyo de aquel lado, y pues nos salimos con lo poco que pudimos agarrar de ropa, nada más. Y todo lo demás, pérdida total. Fue como nunca esta inundación. Y ya cuando venimos, no venimos al otro día porque no se podía entrar porque estaba inundado. No se veía mi casa, se veía una cosita así de mi casa.
Ahora sí que por la naturaleza, ¿verdad? ¿Qué podemos hacer? Sí, y pues le afectó bastante, pues todo se perdió. Pues tenía comedores, tenía muebles, camas, todo.